All right, it's now time for the Week 11 Fantasy Show, a shortened edition as we're going to run by the score lines from last week and get anyone's comments. So if anyone wants to make any comments on any matchups, you can go ahead. First, we will start with a bit of a surprise with myself versus Pussy, as my trash team somehow gets a pretty comfortable win, 107 to 85. Pussy's team struggles once again to put up some points, and this time he doesn't get the fortune of getting the win, as his Eagle stack had him a chance to win on Monday night, and they failed as Washington bottled them up. It didn't start good in that game, but it ended in a good scoreline. Big win for me gets me out of the cellar in last place at 2-8. Pussy's still in a good playoff position at 6-4. As long as he just wins one or two more games, he'll be in. No. Anybody have any comments they want to make? Feel free.
Ah, pussy.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good win for Zombie because it helps you gain a game on one of the guys you're trying to chase. Anyways, moving on to the next matchup, we had a blowout as expected in this one, as Zach stays in last place with 1-9 as a huge loss to Pook, 183 to 102. Pook's team highest scoring of the week by far, as he had huge performances from Fields, McCaffrey, Jones, Kirk, 31 big points. Komet, who he picked up, was a great waiver pickup, 23 points, and Pollard doing another big game. So a bunch of huge performances. His whole team popped off, which gets him the 183 biggest score, I believe, this season, I think. So congrats, Pook, on that one. Zach, on the other hand, pretty much expected, as when you're facing Pook with the teams me and Zach has, good things don't come. Moving on to the next matchup, we had another kind of surprise, but this was a big win for Hunter as he picks up a pretty easy win over Ernie, 124 to 97. Ernie falls to 5-5 on in the final playoff spot at the moment at 5-5. Only a game up on some people right below him. So a little bit of heat now on Ernie's team as he's lost some games to put him in this position. Or a few weeks ago, it looked like he was going to be maybe third or fourth seed. Now he's struggling to get into the playoffs. On Hunter's side, big win for him to jump over Ernie and get him right now in the playoffs in a good position at 6-4. So a couple big wins the last few weeks for Hunter to keep him in the mix. So GG's to Hunter on that. We'll see. Ernie has some big matchups moving forward. Moving on to the next matchup of the last week. This was a surprise just for how big of a scoreline it was 130 to 90. Only 90 points for Cheese's team. He falls to 8-2. Luckily for Cheese, Tyler also put up a bad week and lost, so they both
Mm-hmm.
stay tied for first. Obviously, Tyler has the tiebreaker at the moment, but Bill just keeps rolling as Bill's team has definitely surged in the second half. There's usually one team near the bottom that always makes a run, and Bill's team is doing that as he's now 4-6, only one game back. Not too long ago, he was tied with me and Zach at the cellar. Now he's only one game back of a playoff spot, and his team is on fire. Another solid week as he just keeps putting up solid weeks. Cheese, any comments about your loss last
Look,
week to Bill?
look, this was the worst week of the season for
Okay.
my team, and it involved multiple players on a bye, tight end getting injured for the season. So
Okay.
basically everything went wrong.
Yeah.
And we still got
Billy
90, which is
Diggs was
not,
the only good.
90 is not. We didn't get like 50 like some
Not
people.
not only did you
Zombie.
only put up 90, but you also picked up a big injury to your tight end, so now you're
Look,
without
look,
Zach
look,
Ertz.
look,
A little bit
look,
of
look.
struggles here
Our
for
team struggled,
top
but we
team.
didn't. We didn't put up 50 like someone else in this party.
Okay.
We
Seems
still put
like
up
the
90.
seems like the top teams have some injury
Look,
bug now. They're starting
the
to
only
fall a
injury
little bit. It
bug
always happens every year.
The
The teams
only
that start
injury
out really
bug
good
is a
always
tight
struggle.
end, and besides Kelsey and Andrews, every tight end is basically the same. I was enjoying
Okay.
a bit of a
Keep
boost with Ertz.
I like the optimism. Just keep that optimism
It's
up.
not too
All
much of
right.
a downgrade. Look.
Okay.
I get my Joe Shiesty back. I feel better. And
All
also
right. All
Tyler
right.
Watt, so it was essentially a wash.
Hey, well, we'll see going into your huge matchup this week
Yeah, biggest matchup of the
if
year.
you can pull it off or if your team will continue to struggle. All right, moving on to the next one. We had another big win. This one in for Zombie as he picks up a easy 121 to 80 victory. Big blow for Matt as now he's tied with Zombie on record and now below him in points for. So he falls to the 10 seed at the moment at 4-6. Zombie needed the win as season started now, he said, and he got a win to start the season off. off. Now 4-6, only one game behind Ernie for that final playoff spot, so it is definitely in reach. Zombie had to have this victory, and he got it with a solid overall performance from his team. No CTE this week besides Herbert. Herbert got hurt and is now on IR, but everyone else did what they needed to do on Matt's side. Just another rough week as Matt's points for are not very high. His team somehow is 4-6, as even himself has admitted. It's not that great of a team, but he's 4-6 somehow. So he still has a chance to make the playoffs. And if you get in, you never know what can happen. So you just got to get in, and then 1 or 2 hot weeks, and you're moving on in the playoffs and maybe to the final. So he's still in the race, has a chance. Zombie, your comments after the big win that you needed against Matt.
Like I said, my season started this week, and
Okay.
I'm gonna just run the table.
Oh, okay. You're gonna run the table and make it in, and then go all the way to the final and win it, huh?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, one note: you and Tyler did make a big trade this week, as you get your boy Eckler back after trading him away, fire sailing him away after 2 weeks of average production to start the year. You traded him to Tyler, and now Tyler, with his cup injury, trades him back to you for some wide receiver help. Any comments on that trade you'd like to make?
Yep. I was always gonna get my boy Eckler back.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what he does for you moving forward
Un-
down this playoff stretch. We'll see if he can get you into the playoffs to keep your streak alive.
And yeah, and fuck you to Pook. I am a
Ooh.
real fan.
Oh. What's that mean? Because you got your Charger boy back?
Yeah.
Well, if you were a real fan, you probably wouldn't have traded him to begin with after 2 weeks of average production. So,
Whoa.
Yep.
and then he
Whoa.
popped off after you got rid of him. But all right, and then the final matchup of last week, we had, as we said, Tyler falling as well, as he only put up 80 points, falls to Slaps in a 123-80 blowout. Slaps with a big win over Tyler to move to 6-4. So we got all these guys at 6-4, all one game up on that final playoff spot, so sitting pretty comfortably. Tyler falls 8-2, not that huge of a thing, as he's still tied with Cheese for the top spot and has it at the moment with their big matchup coming up this week. Although some concern for Tyler, like we said, he trades away Eckler because Cooper Kupp goes on IR, so that's not good as he loses his best player on his team. So some concern for Tyler's team with the big injury and then trading away Eckler. So we'll see how Tyler's team reacts moving forward. Obviously, down the stretch of the playoffs and in the playoffs, you don't want to not have the guys that have got you there, and he's going to be without both that have kind of led his team to this point. So we'll see what happens with Tyler's team. Slaps, your comments after the big victory to move to 6-4.
Easy predicted. He's never beat me in fantasy, so
Ooh, he has never beat you in fantasy. Wow. Interesting stat. Well, GG's. All right. So looking at the standings real quick, as we mentioned, we have Cheese and Tyler sitting atop at 8-2, both. Let's see, they're both 3 games up on Ernie for the final spot and 4 games up on the 8th place team. So there's how many weeks left? 4 weeks left, I think.
Oh, look, Zach's playoff
11,
percentage has
12,
moved
13,
to
yeah, there's-
0.
Yeah, but he is not eliminated. We did the math. But anyways, so basically, you 8-2 guys are basically in the playoffs. You're 4 games ahead of the 8th seed with 4 games to play. So then it would come down to points for basically, which I think you're higher on them. So you're basically in. But then we have Pook at 6-4, Slaps at 6-4, Hunter at 6-4, and Pussy at 6-4. So the 3 through 6 seed, all 6-4, 2 games back of those bye teams. And with those bye teams' injuries and kind of struggling lately, it's not out of the realm just yet that this is only a 2-man race for the bye. These 6-4 teams get hot, they could make a run. One of these 8-2 teams is guaranteed to lose this week, so they're gaining a game on them possibly if they win. So it's not quite a 2-man race just yet for that bye with the losses last. Then we have Ernie, like we said, a game up on Bill, Zombie, and Matt, all at 4-2. So basically, he's a game up on them. Looking at the points for Bill, obviously, out of the 4-6 teams, has the highest. Does he overtake Ernie at yes? Just
Click
barely.
PF, click PF,
1151 to 1187. So by about 36 points. Huh?
Click points, it'll sort.
I don't need it to sort. I'm just comparing Ernie and Bill.
Okay.
So yeah, so he's about 36 points ahead of Ernie. So
Yes,
if
Bill
he
is making
ties
the
him on
comeback.
record, he could be in the playoffs next week if Ernie loses and Bill wins.
Jesus.
So that's
We
not
need
without
Zombie to get
Zombie.
eliminated.
What Zombie your points for compared to Ernie is what? You're at 1055 Ernie. So Ernie's a whole 100 points ahead of you. So
Yeah,
you got
Zombie's
some
done.
work to do to catch Bill or Zombie. If you're 100 below Ernie, that means you're 136 below Bill. So you got some work to do to overtake Bill or Ernie. But we'll see if Ernie how he responds going into this week. Then obviously myself at 2-6 and Zach at 1-9, battling for that last place to pay the shipping. So we'll see how that race shapes out. Obviously, me and Zach both have to win out and then get a whole lot of help as we need Ernie to lose out. And then we need these 4 and 6 teams to also drop quite a few games to have any chance of getting in as that final seed, which is very, very unlikely, but not locked as it is still a possibility if we win out and get a bunch of people to lose. So we will see what happens.
It's a
I'm
big
sure
week.
by next week,
Have a
depending
clear
on if
picture.
with both of us losing, we will probably be locked after this comes. This might be our final bye week where we can make trades.
When is the trade deadline?
I believe it's in like 2 weeks. I think it's like the 7th, or it might be week 13. It's a late one. I think it's either 13 or week 12. I don't know. You can
Okay.
if you're wanting to make trades, you still have time. Plenty of time.
Hopefully Pusa gets it together.
Oh yeah. We'll see. With his
Well,
office being open, send offers, begging for offers, and then we send
There's a-
offers, and then he turns around
There's
and
a
trades.
there's a reason that his office has been open for 2 weeks now.
Yeah. There's I guess there's a reason. I mean, I thought we could get a deal
We
done
had
today,
a
but
deal
then
agreed
he
upon, and he
snapped, so
snicked it, even though Slaps had approved the
he
deal.
must not have put his numbers in or something yet. I don't.
Slaps, you
know about that.
approved our deal.
I did
Yeah,
approve
then
the
he
deal, and
canceled
then
right after you
So
approved.
what
So
do you
I don't
think was
understand.
happening?
I
he
don't
thought
know,
he'd
but
try and
all
he
right.
thought he'd
Looking
try and
forward to a big week 11. As we already mentioned, we got the first and second place teams going at it. But before we get to that matchup, myself versus Pook. Obviously, this is a big one. My season most likely will be over after losing this week, which it's looking likely as Pook's predicted to win 114 to 101. Pook has Justin Fields against Atlanta, which good matchup, and Fields has been popping off, so he's benching Lamar Fields at the moment. McCaffrey versus Arizona is against Arizona.
Oh my God, he's
Jones
starting 2 tight ends.
against Tennessee. Yes, Jacoby Myers against the Jets. Pickens against Cincinnati. Andrews against Carolina. Komet against Atlanta as well. So he's got the Fields to Komet. And the Eagles defense against Colts. Obviously, we know 2 tight ends never works in fantasy to get a win in this league. However, this might be the first time that he might actually do it with the 2 tight ends,
Well,
as
they're
both
both
those tight ends are
questionable.
good. Yeah, we'll see if Andrews plays and if he plays likely to still keep the 2 tight ends or see what happens there. A lot could change. On my side, we have Mariota this week with Geno on a bye against Chicago. So the QBs at the moment in that Atlanta-Chicago game going
playing
at
each
it in
other.
this matchup. Newly acquired James Robinson against the Patriots. A little bit of a tough matchup there. Foreman against Baltimore, newly acquired as well. DJ Moore against Baltimore. CD also acquired against Minnesota as we had Walker on a bye, so we needed to ship him and Chase away for some help this week. Fryermuth against Cincinnati. We'll see if he stays on my team or not by the end of the week. And London against Chicago. Hopefully some Mariota to London touchdown left. And the Cowboys against Minnesota and Kirk Cousins. Just in time.
Oh.
Obviously, I'm going to pick myself because I'm not a pussy. Hopefully, 2 tight end streak continues where he doesn't get a win based off that. If he plays both tight ends, we'll see. But I'll take myself even though he doesn't look very grim. It doesn't look very good based on the lineups that are current in front of me. Cheese, who's winning?
Luke's gonna win, even though he's gonna declare he's going to the beach once again. 5 minutes matchup like he always does.
Yep. All right. Slaps.
Sorry, golfer. It's
It's okay.
Pook on this one.
Expected. Yep. Zombie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my boy Pook.
Boy Pook. Wow. Okay. All right, Pook, would you like to make any comments about your team or about this matchup?
Everyone is on the block, and I'm gonna win.
Yeah, we've heard that many times.
Oh,
And you're winning. Okay. All right, moving on to the next matchup. Good time for Hunter to play the last place team when he needs wins at 6-4 against Zach at 1-9. Right now, ESPN has Hunter projected in a landslide, 116 to 89. Hunter has Russell Wilson in there for this week against the Raiders, Taylor against the Eagles, Josh Jacobs against Denver, Cooper against Buffalo, Juju against the Chargers. Well, questionable. I don't know if he will play based off of what happened past week with concussion. Hawkinson against Dallas, James Conner in the flex against the 49ers, and the Bears against Atlanta. On Zach's side, he has, let's see, who's starting at quarterback this week. Jared Goff against the Giants. Tough defense
Whoa.
there. I don't know. Melvin Gordon against the Raiders. Montgomery against Atlanta could be decent with Khalil Herbert out. Devontae Smith against the Colts. Hopkins against the 49ers, who he newly got, and Mike Gesicki is on a bye, so he'll have to find a tight end. Curtis Samuel against Houston, and the Commanders defense, who looked good against the Eagles, surprisingly against Houston, should be a decent matchup there for him. Obviously, I'm going to take Hunter. I think Hunter's team is much better on paper. I don't really care for some of Hunter's matchups this week, as well as the Russell Wilson play, but I think he'll score just enough points to beat Zach. As long as he scores like 100, 110, he'll probably get the victory over Zach, which would be a huge victory for him. Would get him pretty close to probably getting a playoff spot on lock. So it's a good time for Hunter schedule-wise to play a team like Zach. Geez.
Jesus, no shot at Zach's winning. Projected under 90.
Okay.
Taking Hunter.
Well, he doesn't have a tight end
Wow.
in there, so he'll be over 90. once he
That's
gets
still
there.
Hunter.
Sluts.
This is going to be a complete and utter blowout.
Okay. For Hunter.
Yes.
Okay. Zombie.
if Zach wins this, actually, it's not happening. So what's the point of saying?
Okay. And
The
Pook.
Hunter.
As much as I would like for Zach to win this, because Hunter told me he does not need a quarterback,
Mhm.
I
Ooh.
don't see how he wins this.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We have Bill versus Pussy in a big matchup this week for both these
Do we
teams.
need to go over this one?
Right now, according to ESPN, 137 to 105. So Bill's team looks like it might keep rolling. Obviously, it's a big one for Bill if he gets it to move to 5-6, and then would only be a game back then of Pussy in the standings. If he gets it, he has Allen against Cleveland. That game right now projected to be a snow fest. We'll see if they move it, so you'll have to keep an eye on that, as well as how healthy Allen is. Barkley against Detroit, good matchup there. Henry against Green Bay. Cortland Sutton against the Raiders. Adams against Denver, as he got Adams from Zach. Schultz against Minnesota. Deontay Johnson in there against Cincinnati, and the Patriots defense against the Jets. On Pussy's side, he's been trying to make trades, but his office is closed at the moment, so we'll see if he ends up making one by the end of the week. Currently has Hurts against the Colts, Jamal Williams against the Giants, Swift against the Giants. Usually he's been riding with these Detroit running backs. Last week it worked okay as they both got a touchdown, but both got around 10 points. Gabe Davis is in there after not starting him last week against me and costing him as he went off. We'll see if it follows the trend of when you don't start him, he scores a lot, and when you do start him, he doesn't. Especially in that Buffalo game, but he is facing Josh Allen, so that's not a bad play because if Allen throws some touchdowns to Gabe, at least it offsets. Brown against the Colts. Foster Moreau, who he picked up as a big blow to his Eagles stack as he lost his tight end, who he acquired a couple weeks ago in Goddard on injured reserve. So he has Moreau in there. Michael Pittman in the flex against Philly, and the Steelers defense against Cincinnati. I think this one will be closer than ESPN thinks, but I do think Bill will get the win. But I don't think it will be as big of a as what ESPN. Chiefs.
Look, Bruce's team is falling apart. Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And Bill's team is kind of on a hot streak. I'm taking Bill. Hopefully, Pusa will make the trade we agreed upon and had multiple votes on.
Yes.
and not try to cuck me again.
That's been a theme this past week
'Cause
of
he
canceling
yelled at me,
trades
he's like,
after a
"Why
bunch
don't-"
of approves.
He said, "Why don't you trade?" And I make a trade with him, and then he just cancels it.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. If only he was here to get his comments on what happened today exactly
well,
and why his office is
tomorrow
closed.
when his office opens,
Well, we'll see if it opens.
hopefully it opens.
Well,
Slaps.
This right here, and I'm so pleased to see this. I'm really, really happy to see this.
Uh-huh.
Those running backs are absolute dog shit bad. Those Lions running backs are terrible.
I mean, they both
And
got a
I'm
touchdown
so
last week.
glad to see that this will be
You're
the week.
really
This will
underrating them.
be the week
I don't think
that
they're
they
that terrible.
No,
but
they're not that
blow-
bad. He's
they're not
just
like-
he's just saying that.
they're not
to
like
say it.
great
They're
or
not
anything.
bad, but
They're not great.
I don't like the
Listen,
strategy of starting them both
Listen,
every week.
I
Yeah, I
am
agree.
pleased to see that this week will be the week that one of them will do all right, the other one not so good. His team is dog shit bad, and he thinks that he's gonna get Jalen Waddle and Kenneth Walker for AJ Brown. Absolute bullshit.
Sounds like a little bit
I don't know.
of
I thought the trade
trade
he
talk,
said was pretty
animosity. It sounds like a
Who-
lot of
what did,
animosity between you and Pussy based on our trade talks today,
am
which is
going
factoring in your evaluation of
with
his team.
my boy Bill.
Coog, what do you think
Okay.
between me and Poosa's canceled trade?
I don't know. You'll hear my thoughts when I talk about this matchup right here.
Okay,
Okay.
Zombie, who's winning?
listen.
You need Bill to
Pusa-
lose.
Whoa, what if me and Bill both make it?
That's not happening.
Well, you'd have to leap either one of the 6 and 4 teams.
And you need to have the
You
points
could.
for, which I don't think you
Yeah.
have the points for.
You could. It could still happen, but I think your
There's
Me
your,
and
your
Bill-
easier route is jumping
There's
Bill and
4
jumping Ernie.
matchups
So.
left. You
I'm gonna
need Bill
Charles
lose.
Barkley guarantee that me and Bill make the playoffs and
You
Ernie
are
and
Oh.
Pusa
11th
don't.
in points for. Holy
Who
shit!
else?
You
Who
are.
doesn't besides Pussy?
Ernie and
Oh,
Pusa.
all right. Wow. Okay, so a little bit of prediction there.
Whoa,
Zombie.
Ernie's gonna
Wow.
make it. I trust Ernie. I trust
Saying
Ernie.
Ernie. So
Well,
I
Jay
love it.
Jefferson-
I'll be glad when Ernie watches this on playback. Zombie is saying Ernie and Pussy.
Ernie, I
both
got your
missed the
back. Ernie, I
playoffs.
got your back.
Ernie's,
I got your back, Ernie. You're making it. You're making
What's
it.
gonna
over
happen?
Zombie.
What's gonna
play
happen when
Ernie
Jay
this
Jefferson
week, and then
turns
Ernie
into
plays
Michael
Bill
Thomas?
next week?
I believe so, yeah. But okay, all right. Yeah, you got to beat Ernie this week. Pook, who's winning this week?
I just want to say, as much as I don't want to face Bill because I believe he has the best team, I want nothing more than to see that pussy ass bitch get fucked this
Wow.
week and lose by 50 points for being a little bitch all week.
No wonder
in his
Pussy didn't
fucking
join
trades.
this. No wonder Pussy didn't join the show tonight. He knew so many
What a
people hated him
fucking
this week.
pussy.
Damn. I don't know.
I hope he loses out.
Wow.
Wait, did you say Pusa has the best team?
No,
he said
Bill.
Bill
Bill
has
I
the
just
best
said Bill
team.
is the best team.
Oh.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Although I don't know
Well,
about Cortland
well.
Sutton. Maybe he needs to change it up better than
And
that.
Well, I mean-
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay
Okay.
Johnson's fine.
Moving
Johnson's
on
a PPR.
Moving on to the
guy.
one of the biggest matchups of the week, as we just talked about. Zombie needs to catch Ernie in that 7th spot at the moment, and he plays them this week. So it's a big matchup for who's getting in that final playoff spot. Possibly Bill also will be watching this one if he can beat Pussy, as he could jump Ernie. As we already talked about, he has about a 36-point lead in points for over Ernie. So Bill could be in that 7th seed this week if he wins and Zombie does his job and beats Ernie. Right now, Zombie predicted to win by 2 points, 123 to 121. Zombie has Mahomes against the Chargers, so big matchup there. Patterson against Chicago. Austin Eckler, newly acquired, against the Chiefs, so that Chiefs-Chargers game will be a big one for Zombie, not only as a Charger fan, but obviously in fantasy as well. Gary Terry looking more like himself lately with Heineke under quarterback against Houston. Good matchup. Hardman against the Chargers. Travis Kelce against the Chargers. So good God, that Chargers-Chiefs game's half your team, Zombie. So we'll see what happens in that one. Donovan Peoples-Jones against Buffalo, and the Jets defense against the Patriots. On Ernie's side, he has Justin Herbert against the Chargers. So that Chargers-Chiefs game, once again, both quarterbacks in that game. So it's going to be a big one. Herbert's been struggling. We'll see if he can turn it around against the Chiefs. Stevenson against the Jets. Dalvin Cook against Dallas. Justin Jefferson listed as questionable against Dallas. I'm sure he'll play. Olave against the Rams. Pitts against Chicago. And Joshua Palmer against KC. We'll see if Keenan Allen plays. He did practice. So we'll see if he gets to start Keenan Allen. That could be a big win for Ernie coming back this week against Zombie if he can put in Keenan Allen in there as well for his flex. So we'll see if he gets. I think this obviously comes down to that Chargers Chiefs game. I think Herbert does have a better game than he's been doing if he gets Keenan Allen back. And I like Ernie's running backs more than I like Patterson. Although Patterson, he could boom, he could bust. I think I'm going to take Ernie, but it's going to be very close like ESPN projects. And I think he's getting Keenan Allen back. Keenan Allen doesn't play, then I'll side with Zombie's side in a close one. But I think Keenan Allen might come back and have a good game. Take Ernie in a close. Cheese.
Taking Ernie.
Wow.
More
okay.
more solid
Fuck
players.
you,
over
Cheese.
the-
Shut the fuck up, you pussy ass pussy.
Yeah.
I don't believe
Uh,
in Cordero, People Jones, Scary.
Alright.
Well, actually, I do believe in Scary Terry though.
I like
He's-
Ernie's wide receivers also a little.
I think Zombie is very top heavy, and
Oh, okay.
if Mahomes and Kelsey are like just score like or just like average, then he's not gonna get.
And Hardman, don't forget he's got the 3
Yeah,
stack.
like and Harmon get like CTE'd last week. Like
He's the prime
I don't
candidate
think
this
Hardman
week.
played last week.
He's the prime candidate this week on Zombie's team to get injured during the game and
and
go
like
out and
Atlanta
ruin
has like
Zombie's
6 different
chance.
running backs, so I'm taking Ernie.
Okay, wow, interesting. Slaps.
I do like Ernie's team, but I think that Kansas City Chargers game's gonna be a shootout, and I think Kelsey and Mahomes will put a big point.
Wait, you
on
know
your
what's
little
funny?
Zombie.
You know what's
Okay.
funny? Zombie has to root against his Chargers.
Yeah, he kind of does.
He's
You're
been
right.
he's been doing that all fucking year. What are you?
Yeah, but
Well,
he
he's got
actually has
Eckler,
to
so
now.
he can root for Eckler to score all the points and they win somehow. But yeah, he needs Eckler to score all the points and his Chargers to win, but
It's gonna-
Mahomes
that-
also to do his thing.
That whole game's gonna be a shootout. So
Ah,
We'll see.
well, then who does that benefit? Because they both have quite a. Well, obviously Zombie has more of the players.
yeah, it's gonna be
Ernie
pass
could have
catching,
the Herbert.
Ernie's got
pass catching to Eckler, and Mahomes and Kelsey to just go off. That's gonna
Okay,
happen.
So you're taking Zombie,
Yeah.
right? Luke.
I'm just gonna say I hope I am in the party Sunday night with Ernie and Zombie there.
That's gonna be a great game to watch.
That will be a great party and it will be a great watch. Yes.
I
Right.
think as much as I would like to pick Ernie, he is starting a wide receiver who is just above waiver wire quality and Chris Olave, so I don't know.
Yeah, good point, Pook. I don't know if that just above waiver wire quality Chris Olave will do anything this week against the Rams. Yeah,
I mean, the Rams are
good
kind of
call.
ass.
But I am
Exactly.
gonna
That's
pick,
what we're using sarcasm, Cheese.
I'm
We're
gonna
using
pick Ernie.
sarcasm. Tyler called Chris Olave just above waiver wire quality. What is Chris Olave's rank this year?
He is.
He is
He-
ranked number 19 wide receiver, and
He's
I believe he
averaging
missed.
14 points per
Did he
game.
miss a game?
Yeah, he missed
Although,
Cincinnati.
although if we look at
so
his
he's a
last
top 20
three,
wide receiver with injury, but that's
we look
just
at
above
his-
waiver
Who
wire
gives a
quality.
shit, Cheese?
look
It
at his
doesn't
last three, it's
matter.
kind of weak.
It's still better than waiver wire.
It is better than
quality.
waiver wire. Yes.
Like, come
yes,
on, that's just a ridiculous statement by
yes.
Tyler. All right. So we'll see. Zombie, are you getting this job on Sunday night or what?
Listen, I agree with my boy Tyler. Olave is
Oh
a
my
wide
God.
receiver 3 at best.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm gonna run the table. I gotta beat everyone.
Yup.
It's gonna continue this week. My boy Ernesto standing in the way. But
Okay, so your boy.
that's his
Well,
boy.
I can assure you one thing. Sunday night, it doesn't matter if you try to call him your boy right now. He will shit talk you on Sunday night. So you could try to suck up to him right now by calling him your boy. But if it's close going into that game on Sunday night, he will be talking shit to try to get the win over. He knows he needs it just about as bad as you
Yeah.
need it. So we'll see, but that's the big one. Obviously, the other huge one of the week for bye purposes is the next matchup: Tyler versus Cheese. Both 8-2. Both struggled last week. Both lost with under 100-point performances. Whose team bounces back? Do they both bounce back? We'll see. Tyler right now predicted to lose to Cheese 110-97. Obviously, some injuries, some buys, all factoring into Tyler's matchup team this week. He's starting Heineke against Houston, Samaje Perine against Pittsburgh. That's the
Yeah.
best running back he can get right now. Ugh. Michael Carter, who he got in that Eckler deal against New England. Darnell Mooney against Atlanta. Amon-Ra, who he acquired for in that deal as well against the Giants. George Kittle against Arizona and Diva. So he really needs his 49er boys to step up this week to give him any chance to possibly win, I believe. On Cheese's side, he has Burrow against Pittsburgh, Gus Edwards if he plays against Carolina, Miles Sanders against the Colts, Diggs against Cleveland, Lazard against Tennessee, Hayden Hurst, who he picked up against Pittsburgh with no Ertz, and Tyler Boyd against Pittsburgh as well, and the Ravens. Carolina. Obviously, I like Cheese's team on paper more. Tyler has bye issues. He has Cooper Kupp's huge injuries, a big blow to Tyler's team. Like we said, already having to trade away Eckler to get some type of team for this week obviously didn't help either. So I'm going to take Cheese in a pretty comfortable win. I think Tyler's team scores under 100 points, and I think Cheese's team bounces back with like a 120 type effort. So I will take Cheese. Put slaps. Who's winning?
Cheese this week.
Okay. Zombie.
I'm gonna go with my boy Cheese.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
you say your boy. You don't know which one you're gonna say. Say either. All right, Pook.
I'm gonna go with Tyler.
Oh, with Tyler. Okay. Any reason why you think Cheese's team's gonna score less, or you think Tyler's team's gonna actually do good?
Well, I mean, Cheese's team has to score less for him to lose.
Well, I know, but like less, I mean low scoring game. Think it's gonna be a low scoring game where Tyler just squeezed by, or you think Tyler's team's actually gonna put up a
No,
lot
low
of
scoring.
points?
Yeah, low scoring game.
Okay. All right, Cheese. Obviously, it's for the bye at the
Look.
moment. Big matchup. You got lucky with Cooper Kupp. As we talked about, you've had some fortune this year. Add this one to the list of not having to face
Look.
Cooper Kupp and Tyler's team being
Look,
on the
I feel
downfall.
good.
No Eckler or Kupp.
Other than Lazard, I don't know if I'm starting Lazard because
Okay.
it's supposed to be a blizzard or something, right? Tomorrow. So
You
if
can
the
look up the
weather,
weather yourself. Yeah.
if the weather's really bad, Zeke will be coming in.
Okay. Interesting.
But I feel good. This is the second week of my buy issues. After this week, no more buy issues. I'm hoping
Okay.
I can get that trade done with Pusa to acquire AJ Brown for this week.
Okay.
Make my team even better. But I feel good. Perine is not his running backs are not. It's not looking good over there.
All right. So you're sounding confident then.
Yes.
All right. All right. Interesting. All right. And then the final matchup of the week, a big one for Matt as he needs a win desperately against Slaps' team. Slaps 6-4, Matt 4-6. So obviously, if he can get that win, then he moves one game back of Slaps as well as any other 6-4 teams that lose. Right now, he's projected to get it according to ESPN 104-110 for Matt. Matt has Derek Carr in there against Denver. Denver's defense been pretty good, so I don't know about that one. Kamara against the Rams. Damian Pierce against Washington. T. Higgins against Pittsburgh. Adam Thielen against Dallas. Gerald Everett against Kansas City. Devin Singletary in that possible snow game could be decent against Cleveland. And the Bengals against Pittsburgh. Slabs Society has Prescott against Minnesota, Nick Chubb against Buffalo, Joe Mixon against Pittsburgh, Ayuk against Arizona, Brandon Cooks against Washington, Tyler Higbee against New Orleans with Cup out. Maybe he gets some more targets possibly. Mac Hollins against Denver, and Broncos against Raiders. Let's see. I think some of Matt's matchups I don't really care for, but I do like a few of his players. But I'm gonna take Slaps, I think, in a close, maybe lower medium scoring, 105 to 100, something around those lines. I think Slaps is running backs as well as Ayuk could do good, and Higbee I think might have a good game as due for one. So I'm gonna take Slaps, but in a close matchup. Cheese.
I'm gonna take Slaps just because the Raiders' offense is atrocious. So Derek Carr won't do much. Kamara's been real bad. Thielen is
Kamara's been
whatever.
good a few and then bad a few.
Yeah, inconsistent. Singletary is also very inconsistent. Slaps, he has Mageddon. Still got the solid running backs. I like Ayuk. I like Higbee with no cup.
Yep. Zombie.
God damn. Wait, so if Matt loses, he's in like 10th
I think Matt's
place, isn't
basically
he?
done if he
I mean,
loses.
if Matt loses, he's gonna stay in 10th place. So
Well,
he would be
Matt's
4 and
Matt.
7, depending on what happens with Ernie in your matchup. He could either, if Ernie wins, then Ernie's 6 and 5, so Ernie would be what 2 games ahead of him. If Ernie loses, then he's still in it. He would only be a game back of you and Ernie and Bill if Bill won. So I mean, he's not going to be out of it either way still. But if he loses, obviously it's a lot bigger for him. His points for is like the worst in the league, so that doesn't help him
Yeah.
either if he's in ties.
Listen, I'm gonna go with my boy Matt because this is the last win he'll see this
Oh.
season.
Do you play him next week or something? Is that why you're saying
Yep.
that? I
No.
figured. I figured.
No, I just played him.
Okay.
Oh, I
just
thought you
played.
did. Oh, me, Ernie played.
Okay. Okay. Pook.
I think Matt will. I think Matt will win. Yeah.
Okay. Couple Mats. All right, Slaps. So you're going to overcome the buy issues this week. Obviously, that trade, getting Walker and Chase, if they come back, will make your lineup a lot better. But you got to get through this week with Matt
Yeah,
first.
I done that trade to make my team. Well, I think my team will be amazing when my bye and injury problems aren't there.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm still going to vote for myself, but I do
Yeah.
think I'm going to struggle this week.
Okay. So lower scoring victory for.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that and hope that I somehow get a few of my players to at least perform well. But yeah, next week someone's in trouble.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So that wraps up the predictions. Obviously, with the weather issues out there, keep an eye on your matchups. If any of them get rescheduled at all, as well as injury problems, keep an eye on those. Real quickly, as the final wrap up, let's do a quick prediction of at this moment who we think is getting in those final playoff spots. As well, we already heard Zombie say that he thinks Ernie and Ernie and Pussy are going to be dropping, and him and Bill will make it. Cheese, do you think it's going to stay the way it sits, or do you think who's dropping and who's getting in out of the 6 and 4s of 4 and 6?
I think Bill will get in,
Okay,
and
so who's out?
I think Pusa will lose out.
Okay, all right, so Bill will make it, Pussy will be out, and Zombie will not make it. Okay, interesting.
Wait, how many
All
games
right.
have we got left?
There's
Four
4
left.
weeks left.
4 weeks left, right? Okay.
All right, Slaps, you think it's going to be status quo, or you think someone's dropping and someone else is getting in?
Yeah, I think 2 people will drop.
Okay, who are the 2?
Okay. Oh.
I think Pusa and Ernie drop out.
Okay. And then who's getting in?
Ernie and Bill.
You said Ernie.
Sorry. Bill and Zombie. Ernie drops out.
All
Ernie.
right, so you're backing up Zombie's prediction that him and Bill get in and Pussy and Ernie are out. Okay, wow. All right, I think for the record, I think Ernie will make it. I think his team's too good not to make it. I do think he will make it. I could see though Pussy dropping out. I think Hunter will make it as well, just with his schedule. Getting to play Zach this week obviously is going to give him a big win. If Hunter somehow lost this week, then obviously he's in deep trouble. But I think Pussy will drop as the only one, and I do think Bill will make it and leap over Pussy. So I think that's how it will stand. All right, Pook, any prediction?
I think Hunter and Pusa drop out.
Ah, okay.
Wait, let me look. 2, 3, 4. Ernie and Bill make it. That's wait, 7. There's 7? Fuck.
Wait.
I
If you're
think
predicting Pussy and Hunter to drop, you got to take either Bill, Zombie, or Matt. You got to take 2 out of those. Ernie's already in at the moment.
well, no, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. If I take out, oh yeah, you're right. All right, I think Hunter's gonna drop. I think Bill's gonna make it in.
Okay. So
You think
you're
Hunter
just-
will drop?
So you're thinking
Interesting.
Pussy and Bill both make it, but Hunter's the one that. Interesting. So do you think Hunter's winning this week or losing against Zach? Or you think he's gonna win this week, but then lose out the rest of the way? And
I
people
think
will
he's
jump
gonna
him?
win then lose out.
Okay. Interesting. All right. All right. Well, there we go. Basically, everybody. And nobody said Slaps is not going to make it, so that's interesting enough. So Slaps at 6 and 4 will make it, but everybody else, according to us, one or the other. Somebody has somebody dropping. So we will see what happens. We'll catch you back here next week to break down the standings after the 2 big matchups and all the rest of them next week.